doing my best, George Michael. Help me out here. Last Christmas, you gave us Wonka. This year, Mufasa. This has been the worst year of them all, cinematically. Last Christmas. That's all I got. It's time. It's Sunday night. Here we go. That's one of my favorite songs of all time. I liked this before it was cool to like. Last Christmas by Wham! Exclamation point. And it's nice that we found the instrumental version so I can talk over it without George and Andrew humming in the background. Welcome to the Sunday Night Spectacular, as always, live from the City of Angels here on this Sunday night. Let's do it. Let's get ready to go. We got a busy show, man. There's a lot of stuff going on, right? Yes, it's Christmas in a few days, but we also have Christopher Nolan taking a rare L. We've got the Blake Lively saga to discuss later, and we have one of the best movies of the year in Nickel Boys. We'll do a live MMT evaluation in moments. But ladies and gentlemen, I need some music for breaking news. You guys ready? Let's do it from the top as live. Imagine you're watching Fox and or CNN right now as we go live to the AMC Burbank in Burbank, California. And we look at the IMAX. Here we go. Get ready. Good Lord. Our breaking news is Mufasa's dead carcass is being dragged around the IMAX near you right now. These are the sales for the 10 p.m. IMAX tonight down the street here at the number one AMC in the entire world. We have a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 3? Is it? Someone just got rid of their seats. There are 3 people in tonight's Mufasa. Do you see? Oh, no, sorry. There's 5 in the back row. There's a total of 8 people out of 350 odd seats in that auditorium. This is one of the biggest bombs of the year, and the way that Disney did not want to end what's been a really great year for them, right? They had Inside Out 2, obviously huge. Deadpool Wolverine, biggest R-rated film ever globally. And then Moana 2, still doing great cash, 800 million worldwide on that. So it's been really tremendous. And you throw in your Alien Romulus, your King of the Planet of the Apes, and all the other little things they had this year. A lot of hits, big hits, $5 billion worldwide. But it's going to end on a really terrible note for Disney with this $35 million opening. One of the worst we've ever seen for a film this big, 200 million plus. Mufasa is a bomb, as we are seeing live from the City of Angels. On Sunday night. Let's do this, and let's do it and get after it, because it's going to be a busy night, as I alluded to. Let me push me up bigger and make the rest of it smaller, and you'll be able to see us better here live from the City of Angels. Let's do it. Here we go. So listen, I was going to start the show with any number of things. We obviously just touched on the devastation of IMAX and Mufasa. I think, just taking that just a little further, you look at IMAX and you're talking about an auditorium that is booked by the studios for at least 1 week, often 2 or more, as we saw with a film like Oppenheimer had IMAX for how many weeks, right? A very long window, because they know Nolan is going to sell that thing out, as we just saw with Interstellar. So Disney has that right now for The Lion King, and it's doing so poorly that IMAX is now empty. As you just saw, 8 people in an hour and a half from now or so, 8 people in that enormous IMAX auditorium. And you can't change. There's no flexibility with the IMAX. It's a contract Disney has with IMAX for not just this week, next week. The entire Christmas corridor is locked down by Mufasa, and it's bombing. So when you look at that, that is obviously a huge loss for AMC for anybody with an IMAX screen, you are fucked hard over the next 2 weeks. And this is the biggest 2 weeks of the movie going calendar. So this is a big story. That's why it's our breaking news off the top here on MMT. Let's get to our next story. And you're saying to yourself, Christopher Nolan takes the L. Oh, yeah, he took an L. You guys ready to see what he had to say about Gladiator 2? Gladiator 2, listen, I'm not going through it again. We're not relitigating it. I'm not going to discuss how mid at best that film is, right? There's nothing spectacular about Gladiator 2. The best thing is there's two things that are good, right? Number one, Denzel Washington. Even if you don't love his accent, it's not, I understand, fine, but he at least gives life to the picture. And then Paul Mescal's mullet. That's the only two things that are good. Nothing else. And Nolan doesn't talk about that. He talks about how a great film, this is one of the best of the year. Like the best long-awaited sequels, Gladiator 2 must be a remake and sequel in one. It's a testament to Scott's brilliance that he manages to balance the individual pathos of the original with the expansionist demands of the sequel central theme. Holy shit. Listen, would you talk about how terrible the film is, Nolan? I mean, how do you, as a director who has the elite skill set that Nolan has, watch Ridley Scott phoning in a film with Gladiator 2 and then say, this is one of the best films of the year? Nolan typically doesn't take L's, but ladies and gentlemen, you see it at the bottom of your screen. Christopher Nolan, you, my friend, have a massive L. Gladiator 2 is not a film that you should be pointing out as one of the best films of the year. I'd have a lot more respect for you, Christopher, if you would have mentioned Joker 2. Joker 2 is 100 times the film Gladiator 2 is. 100 across the board. So I don't want to hear anything about Gladiator 2. We're not going to talk about Soups calling it the best movie ever made. But Nolan? I mean, Soups is a joke, so of course we're going to. But when we talk about Nolan, what are we doing? Scott's brilliance. Nolan has lost his damn mind. What he's doing is he's evaluating on a curve, right? We talk about this all the time with everyone in the space. Virtually every critic in the space evaluates based on legacy. They don't evaluate based on now, on what's in front of you here, not in the past. We're not doing Blade Runner, okay? We're not talking about all these films from the past. We're talking about now Ridley Scott. And now Ridley Scott is phoning it in. His own cinematographer said that. Remember, he said, I'm going to play the video again. Remember from a few weeks ago, we played it. In his own words, Scott doesn't even bother. He just sets the cameras up and says, let's go. And the camera guy's like, well, you got to get nope, we're shooting 4 shots at once like we're doing a sitcom, and then we're getting the hell out of here. He's turning to Eastwood. He's just like, rush, rush, rush. Film's over. Let's go. And you can see it. None of the shots are held in Gladiator 2. None of it looks great. Even Mescal's not fantastic. I don't think he's the worst thing ever in the role, but he's no Russell Crowe, right? No doubt. This is not a great film, okay? It's not on my worst films of the year, but it's definitely not on the best films of the year. And it's been a bad year. So Nolan, huge L for you. I mean, this is not how you want to close out 2024 unless you're trying to get Paul Mescal to work on your next film. You already have everyone else in it. You don't need him. He's in every other movie. Just give him a break, for God's sake. All right, let's roll right into it. We're just moving here. This is exactly how we do it. We don't mess around. It is time for the MMT evaluation of a film that finally I'm starting to see some great films. One of the best films of the year. It is Nickel Boys. Here comes the trailer for this artistic beauty of a film.
Long time, long time, long time.
Woo! That's it, Em. You're doing great.
What happened to that one kid? I used to hang with all the time.
You don't remember?
Remember what?
You really don't remember.
I don't know what more you want me to remember.
I'm going to hit it right there. I'm going to pause and I'm going to tell you that the shot you're looking at, okay, this film, when I see this shot in the train car of a time lapse, it's one of the greatest shots I maybe have ever seen in a film. That's how good it is. My jaw was on the floor, right? Oh, literally, right? Your jaw dropped. No, for real. I was like, Oh my God. This is a moment of hypnotic beauty because the way that Ramel Ross shot this is POV. Okay. So it's a very unconventional visioning of this film. It's entirely shot through the eyes of the protagonist here, who is remembering his time spent at the Nickel Academy, which is like a boys' detention center in Tallahassee, Florida, back in the civil rights era when rights weren't for everybody. So he had to deal with and survive in brutal conditions. And it's him remembering this. So the idea of the character, your character seeing the past through his eyes, is through his nana, through everybody and everything in this film is really truly, again, visionary. And for that alone, I can't recommend the film enough. Because if this were taken like a traditional film, here we go, let's set up the cameras, let's make it very generic. I'm sure I wouldn't have hated the film, but I wouldn't like it the way I do because artistically it's fascinating because of those choices to shoot this thing with all kinds of interesting angles and looks at objects from the perspective of your character. It also has a really cool box aspect ratio and everything is framed perfectly. This is from Ramel Ross, who used to be a photographer. It's what he started doing. And you can see that transfer here to his work. He had a documentary a few years ago called Hale County. Evening, morning, the exact title eludes me at this moment. But slice of life in Alabama of this Hale County. And I love films like that. Grounded, right? Grounded. Everything just feels like it is very much lived in that documentary. And then he brings that here to Nickel Boys. And you also have performances across the board that are strong. I think Andrew Newt Ellis is fantastic in this film. Across the board, from a cinephilic aspect, this film is fire, okay? And you also have the heavy hitting civil rights stuff going on. And then you are in the middle of that, looking at it through a different set of eyes. One thing that you don't hear anyone talking about with this movie, and you heard a little bit with the trailer, the ethereal score. Score is so important, okay? We don't talk enough about the importance of finding the right composition for your film. So often it's a generic Desplot or who's the other guy who's absolutely terrible that we get in all the Lorne Balfe, right? We've dragged him no channels drag Lorne Balfe more than MMT. These composers, some of them don't get enough recognition. And to this exact point, when I'm talking about, Nickel Boys wasn't even on the short list of the Academy's best scores. It's minimal, but when it's there, it's exactly what should be the composition. And these things matter, okay? It's so often I see a film where the score ruins it, actively destroys what you're watching. And more often than not, I'm going to tell you to strip the score out. I want you to lose it. I do not want it oozing from your film. In fact, go back to Mufasa. I talked about this on Thursday night. Mufasa has so much score that in the moments when you have this serious, and I know between lions, CG animated lions, there's actually some moments that could have been more impactful, but you have this drippy, cheesy score going on underneath. Again, whenever I direct a film, it's going to look more like Ramel Ross's work than it is going to look like J.C. Chandor's, okay? Because I appreciate this. It reminded me of films like Beasts of the Southern Wild. Remember that film from back in, I want to say, like the early 2010s? Just the way it's shot, dreamlike. Another film that I really like, We Are the Animals, is a really awesome little film from like 16, 17, 18. Love that film. This is that kind of, again, feel. And it's so rare we get the chance to see these things on the big screen. Typically, these kind of films don't make it. And I want to give extra love tonight to Amazon. MGM, who brought this film to me at AMC down the street. It'll open for you limited. I'm going to tell you this. You need to drive to see this film, okay? It's that good. It's one of the best films of the year. It's worth you getting in your car and driving 30 minutes to go see this film, going out of your way. And also to support Amazon MGM, not Netflix. They gave us this in theaters. If it was Netflix, I never would have watched it. I'm not watching another Netflix again until they give us theatrical. And until that happens, and I mean wide, I'm not talking about their stuff. This is a 94% easily top 10 film of the year. And again, I can't recommend film more for you to get in a car and drive and find it when it comes to you, because it's only in limited right now. It's platformed because it's not a kind of film that's going to kill it across the board everywhere you go. It's not going to do that. But if you carve out 2 hours and 20 minutes, I think the runtime can be squished down a little bit. We can compact. We can bring this thing down about 2. It's a stronger film at that point. But these are little things, right? It's the MMT fix. It's not much. I didn't even put a CG up for it because it's not that big a deal. But when you look at trying to make the best film, there's a couple scenes that I would compact. I would keep them, but I would just edit them down and make it more succinct. That way we have a little stronger film. But again, overall, what you're watching here is next level, going to be a director we're talking about for many years to come. Feature debut from Ross. This is a filmmaker that you're going to want to support in the future, and starting now with Nickel Boys. Get out there and get after it. Nickel Boys director going to direct Lion King. Don't do it. Make a swiper, you son of a bitch. I'm having a moment here. I'm telling you, the scene the shot you're looking at in the train. Trust me, when you see this film, the doors open on the train, okay? And it's a lot of this is dream-like, right? Again, ethereal, going back to that score. It fits perfectly. And the train and seeing the images of your past move through quickly. That kind of, Tree of Life, you want to go there, right? Some of that. I love that film for exactly those things, right? The deeper spiritual connection to humanity. These films aren't often found. So again, I can't recommend that you watch this stuff. Don't go watch Sonic 3. Fine, if you like Sonic, go watch it, but you need to balance your diet, right? It's not around a diet. It certainly is not FDA approved. FDA is terrible now, but okay, in the old days, it's definitely not. You need to have a nutritious, across the board, a little bits of all of the food groups. And this film is absolutely essential for your cinephilic side of your diet. I'm super excited for Nickel Boys, but I've heard it's giving some people motion sickness. Can you attest? Listen, I saw it on a screen that was about an average size screen at the AMC 6. It's not small. It's not big. It worked out perfectly. I was right in the middle, pretty close to the screen. I didn't have a problem with it. A lot of the shots are tight, but again, for me, not an issue. I would tell you if it were. I've heard that, but I will tell you again, if this were a traditionally shot, directed, and cinematography, just how you expect a linear telling of a story, you're going to be like, this isn't as good. This film is made markedly better by those artistic choices. And again, like I said, it's artistically fascinating. Fascinating. Bring that comment back up. I just lost it there, Gone Girl, if you can. Bring it back up. Nickel Boys is great. Some shots made me think of Unbreakable. Yeah, Donald, this is across the board one of the best films of the year. I just can't, again, recommend this enough. And it's really just so, man, I'm thankful. I am so thankful as we get up here on Christmas. It's a gift to be able to watch A Complete Unknown and then now Nickel Boys back to back with Lion King in the middle. Mufasa doesn't count. Those two films within the span of like 3 days, these are two of the best films of the year and the two best directorial efforts. So right now, I think I still have the substance number one, but from a direction standpoint, I am going to split my award to James Mangold and Ramel Ross. I'm going to split it. It's a split vote. Okay. And they're different films. They're different. But what are they both? Grounded films. That's what we want to watch. We want to watch real human beings having real moments in the real fucking world. That's why I don't want to watch Sonic 3. Why don't I want to watch that? I don't want to. That's not what I don't want to see it. You guys, if you want to watch it, that's fine. You also understand, conversely, why I do not want to watch it. Okay. A couple more comments and we'll move on here. But again, this is a wonderful film. Really, really great stuff. And it's nice to see. Sometimes I see a lot of these films on the best of the year list, and then when you see them, you're like, oh, God. For once, I'm going to give the New York Film Critics Circle some love. They gave their director of the year to Ramel Ross. That's a good call, okay? They're not always right. I've hammered a lot of them being pretentious, chin-stroking knobs. But They got it right. Okay? That's nice. That's what I like. Slice of life. I only like pie. Listen, no. Dude, listen, Steve. Thank you, by the way, Super Chat. You're the man. Here's the deal. It really is about when you are only consuming one thing, it's not your soul needs to experience all kinds of different things to have the best experience. I think in the best way, it helps you as a film critic, at you as a human being to walk in other people's shoes. This film definitely puts you there at the Nickel Academy, getting treated like shit by these instructors and the two different classes of inmates, essentially. This is really strong in putting you in someone else's shoes. And that is another reason that we love cinema, right? Ultimately, it's the empathy you have with another character that you find in these films that you can carry with you and apply to your own life. And I just don't get that from Sonic 3. I don't get that from Mufasa. Okay, I get that from A Complete Unknown, and even more to the point here with Nickel Boys, Substance as well, right? Think about it. Substance is a great film, not just because it's so rad and how far off the rails it goes and still works. The closing shot's one of the best I've ever seen in my life, where you end up back on the star. It's so fucking good. But when you look at Demi Moore and aging and trying to stay relevant, all of these things are just exactly, especially as someone who's no longer 28, I'm trying to do these things. I'm fighting father time, and I understand. So you can relate to these characters. No, am I an actress in Hollywood? No, but I can relate to trying to stay relevant and trying to stay young at some level, right? I mean, no one wants to be the old guy, even though eventually I'm getting there. The hair's going gray. This is why I go to the gym and I try to be as young as possible for as long as I can, because at some point you're just done, right? As Moneyball tells you, at some point you'll be told you can no longer play the kids game, and trust me, it's coming. This stream will be terrible very soon. Saul Craven the Hunter, finally, I think all the ingredients are there. It certainly lacks execution, poorly directed. Only actor having fun is Rhino. He's bad. And I think Ariana DeBose is fine, though. Listen, she shouldn't have been in the movie, right? Craven's not a great film, Steve, at all. Okay, we can all agree. And the direction is just mid at best. J.C. Chandler doesn't have a shred of the talent that Mangold has, and or Renell Ross, not artistically. Now, I go back and I remember Margin Call, solid enough movie. Didn't love it, but solid. And I did like A Most Dangerous Year, A Most Lethal Year, whatever the hell that was. The A24, Oscar Isaac, Jessica Chastain, A Most Killing Year, shit, whatever it was. Yeah, that I have the box here somewhere. I should probably put it up there because it's such a random movie. People forget all about that thing. But J.C. Chandler's just okay, right? He's just one of those guys. And that's a great. Let's go ahead and dovetail that right into this. I want to show you guys something that really was curious to me, and I think it goes back to what we talked about before. About this channel. I don't think there's anybody in this space who is better at evaluating the landscape than what you're watching. That's why we're the gold standard. And yes, of course I'm biased, but I'm going to explain something to you. That when I am bringing you all this information straight out of the theater, a lot of the times I don't even know. I try to go in as completely, utterly clueless as possible. I don't want to know anything. I didn't know anything about Nickel Boys. I didn't know what the hell that even meant. I didn't know. I knew a little bit about Ross from Hale County, which I watched back in 2018. So I remember that being up for documentary. Great. Again, I love that film. There's also a film, Something Indiana, from the filmmaker that makes these super long documentaries. He made one about Boston called City Hall. It's Something Indiana, like Monroe, Indiana. That's a cool documentary. Slice of life, just like literally non-linear. Here's a moment at a school. Here's a moment at the courthouse. Here's a moment. I know I like to watch real people. I mean, that makes sense, right? I want to watch real human beings interacting in the real world. That's why documentaries can be fascinating. Obviously, some of the best films this year, I'm behind on documentaries. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Look here at Barry Jenkins. So remember, what did we say the other night about Barry Jenkins? What did we say? What did we say about Barry Jenkins and Mufasa? We said that Barry Jenkins should never have said yes to Mufasa. It was a paycheck. And I can't believe he said yes. I can't believe Disney wanted him because it doesn't even make sense from a skill set. What's he shown in Moonlight and in Beale Street and all whatever else you want to pull up from Jenkins from filmography. Here's the thing. It's not there. Why? It doesn't make sense. From a storytelling, yeah, I get it. You want to make a grounded Lion King. I don't understand why he wanted to do it other than money. Here's how I know Barry Jenkins knows that he made a mistake. He has not tweeted since September 29th. We're talking almost 3 months. The last thing he talked about, how great Nickel Boys is. You know what that tells me? I'm going to call Barry Jenkins. If you want to come on, I will talk about it. I'm not going to listen. First of all, I appreciate your skill set. I think you're very talented, but I'm here to tell you that and I certainly knew when I watched it, you fucked up. You should never have said yes to Mufasa. That was a huge artistic mistake from you. Directorially, you lost time on a film that no one's going to remember in the future. It just bombed. But isn't it amazing that he hasn't tweeted? And the last thing he talked about was Nickel Boys, a film that feels more like a Jenkins film. He knows. And I'm just going to call it out because I want to make sure that the next time Disney comes knocking, hey, JT Molnar, do you want to direct him? No. The answer is no. I'm done. No, I don't want to hear it even what it is. Hey, Rose Glass, do you want it? Nope. Door shut. Charlotte Wells, we thought that After Sun was really strong. Would you like to direct the next Thunderbolts 2? No. Shut the door. That's what we're doing. Slam the door, hang up the phone. We're not taking the meeting. Barry Jenkins should have listened to us, and for that, we're the gold standard. We don't mess around. You need to listen to MMT. We're always on the right side of history, and I didn't even know that he hadn't tweeted in 3 months. That tells why is that? Let me again one more time. If you're not tweeting about the project that you're doing right now, are you proud of it? No. Are you happy you did it? No. He would be tweeting about go see Mufasa. I've never seen a director with a movie come out, someone who's as busy and into this. Listen, well, Johnny, but is this not fair? What I'm doing right now, let me just ask you, is it fair to drag Barry Jenkins for A, directing Mufasa, and B, not tweeting about it? I'm calling it out. If Barry, well, listen, Barry, my DMs are open. If you want to come on here and tell us your story about Mufasa, I'm going to tell you made a mistake. I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to sit here like, get ready. We're going to hammer Sean Fennessey in a second, the biggest fraud of the year. You wait till you hear this guy. You're going to be, if you've never heard Sean Fennessey, you're going to understand why I say, if it were a live stream, I will gut him. He'll be filleted. Okay? Filleted. Here's the thing. If Barry Jenkins steps on MMT, I'm going to tell him that he's going to be chastised for taking Mufasa. I'm going to say, why did you do it? Was it for the paycheck? And if he, listen, I'm not going to say he's dumb or an idiot. I'm not going to go low. I'm just telling you that that was a mistake. And if you want to come on and discuss it, I'm open. But I need you to tell me that you did it for the money. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm not one of those. I'm not one of them guys who are like, oh, everything's great. I'm not a Sean Fennessey. Wait till he's talking about the Superman trailer. You're all going to lose your shit in a second when I play it. Okay? If Jenkins wants to come on, I will entertain it. He comes on, we'll do an entire live stream where he talks about the decision to make Mufasa and him juggling artistically, making money versus making quality films. And that's a great conversation. It'll be fascinating because I'm not going to hold back. I don't play that way. I don't care if I had Nolan on here. If Nolan were on, I'd be like, what did you see in Gladiator that made you think it's great? What's wrong? Nolan, what's wrong? And he's not going to like that. They'll all leave. It'll be like, have you ever seen one of those interviews where the celebrity comes on and they start asking questions that are a little hard and all of a sudden they leave. All of a sudden the screen goes black. That'll be what happens if Barry Jenkins comes on. Barry Jenkins thought he was doing Mufasa for Disney would help him get a better budget. I don't know. I'm just telling you it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I'm going to explain one more time, guys, that it's not worth your credibility to take a paycheck. Listen, you got to take a job. I'm not saying, but if you're a director and you are taking a Disney film for money, it's just the chances of it going bad. Ask Chloe Zhao are high. Ask James Mangold. You think he's going back to direct another Disney movie? Right? No. He did a Fox movie that was better than Logan, not Dial of Disaster. You see, I understand. Listen, listen. I get it, directors. I get it. They wave $1 million in your face. They say, come do this movie and it'll be good for you. We'll let you do some cool shit like you did with Moonlight to Mufasa. And then you watch it go, where? But listen, just say no, man. Just say no. Why are you saying yes? Stop saying yes. Say no. All right, it's time for our MMT film fraud. It is Sean Fennessey. Are you guys surprised? He's always, we called him Sean Fraud Fennessey. That's his real name. You guys ready to listen to this shit? This is some shit right here. This is some shit. This guy has all of the edge of a butter knife. Here we go. Weber's dragging him again. It's because, just listen to this. He's defending the Superman trailer. Don't make me show it again. We're not going to show it again. If you want to come in and hammer the Superman trailer, we'll play some comments for you. Get ready. Let's listen to him talk about the Superman trailer.
We just saw the first trailer for Superman, and I will say I am excited. I am a James Gunn fan, as listeners of the show know, and I like what I saw from the trailer. I liked the color grading. I liked how...
Guys, what did I say the other night when I showed the Superman trailer? I watched it for the first time. I told you I like James Gunn. This is exactly what makes me the non-fraud and this guy the fraud. He just said he likes him and therefore he's going to double down and say everything's great. I say I like Gunn and then trash the film. That's the difference between authentic and fraud. That's the difference between real and fake. Cubic zirconia and a diamond. Okay, you guys understand. Let's continue, because when you first mentioned color grading as your number one thing you liked, one more time, let's listen to him. What's the number one thing that he likes about it? Listen.
A James Gunn fan, as listeners of the show know, and I like what I saw from the trailer. I liked the color grading. I liked how bright and beautiful and...
I love the color grading. What did you love about it? I mean, that's something to mention. I told you, listen, we talked about aspect ratio and all. I get it. Like, there's nothing wrong. That's not the first thing. What's the number one thing you liked about the trailer? I like the color grading. You'd be like, what the fuck, man? What are you talking about? Why are you being like that? But this is Sean Fennessey trying to be cool, right? Oh, I'm so learned. I'm Sean Fennessey. By the way, does he weigh like $120 or $125? I can't tell.
Visibly and smartly lit the movie seems to be. Obviously, Gunn has a very spongy and visceral quality to his filmmaking. It's not a mistake that the first image you see of Superman in this teaser trailer is a bloodied Superman. James Gunn likes blood and guts.
Thank you, Sean. I didn't know that. I had no idea that's what Gunn has ever done. I have never seen Suicide Squad, just his most recently violent ass R-rated comic book movie. But I'm glad that he's telling me that he likes blood and guts. This is, again, very insightful stuff along with the color grading. Don't say things like this. I'm not bullying him. Okay, maybe. Let's continue.
Something that is featured in all of his movies. So while there is a kind of classic feeling and the interpolation of the John Williams theme from the Richard...
Oh, listen to him. The interpolation of blah fucking A, this motherfucker.
Donner Superman film. I get the feeling like this is going to be a very Gunn type project.
No, hold on, guys. Hold on. Everyone, time out. Breaking news. This is going to be a Gunn type project. James Gunn is directing, but I have this feeling deep inside, only I can feel it. This is going to be a Gunn type project, everybody.
Aside from those obvious nods to the past. Also, David Corenswet looks great. He is not hyper muscle bound like Henry.
Yeah, like Sean Fennessey.
Cavill was in the Zack Snyder films. Rachel Brosnahan looks like a perfect Lois Lane. I'm excited. I choose to believe. I believed in Gunn in the past, and it has paid off for me.
Wait, hold on. Did he just say what I think he said?
And it has paid off for me.
He believes in Gunn in the past, and it's paid off for him. What, is he paying you money? This is terrible. Why is this, John? Why am I the only person who finds this guy fake as hell? Like, this is garbage. You guys listen to that big picture shit and pretend this is some like vaunted voice of film. You guys are stop following the wrong people. Stop listening to the wrong quote prophets. Not a prophet. He's faux. He's the fake prophet. The thing I love about yes, exactly, Slacker. If it's good, like a gun type project should be, then I will. Yeah, that's the thing is, Slacker. This is not. That's the beauty, right? That's the objective nature of what we do. When I watch these things, I'm like, look, I said everything he just said. Then we watched the trailer and I destroyed it because I'm like, I love James Gunn. I said I'm a fan of him. I've had faith of him in the past. Like we talked about. Go watch the stream. I don't want to do it again. And then I hammered it. This is what he doesn't do. You see, this is the difference because they don't have the fucking balls. He wants James Gunn to come on the Big Picture podcast, and Gunn's not going to come on my podcast. He's not coming on MMT. Why would he? I just hammered Superman. I would tell him, what were you doing? Why'd you put Superdog in the fucking thing? It's dumb. I don't care if it's in the comic books. It looks stupid. Superdog was dumb in the League of Super Pets. Why are you putting him in Superman? Man of Steel looks way better than this. You know that, right, James? Way better. It's not even a contest. Like, fuck me. What are you doing? Like, everyone's just dragging this shit. And this guy's out here going, I believe in James Gunn. Watch. He'll have James Gunn on the Big Picture podcast soon. Just watch. You watch. That's how the game is played. These motherfuckers will say anything to get him on their butt. Look, I've got James Gunn. Look, I've got James Cameron. Look, I've got Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott's never coming on MMT because we said he should retire. That's the difference. I don't play favorites. I have no interest in it. But to your point, Slacker, if I like the film, I'm going to say it's good when I see it. Right? I'm not going to, it's terrible because I said it was terrible earlier. If the movie proves to be solid for me, I will turn around and say I was wrong. The trailer's bad, but the movie's good. You know I'll do that. These guys don't do that. They just always say what you expect them to say. All right, let's give out our cinema champion of the week. We've been dragging some people. So let's go positive, which is rare for this channel. And let's talk about Daniel Craig. He is our MMT champion. Again, we get to listen to Daniel Craig drag Netflix. I mean, a little bit of a subtweet style. But just get ready. Here we go. Let's listen to Daniel Craig talk about theatrical and the importance of it. And that's why you, Daniel 007 Craig, are the MMT cinema champion of the week.
One other question I want to ask is about those movies and how they're seen, because they've been so successful in theaters.
Yes.
Does that bother you? Like,
yes,
the idea of, and why, and what's
well, I mean, the first one was such a surprise, and it was
He's talking about Glass Onion and Knives Out, Glass Onion, right? So the first one was full theatrical with Lionsgate, and then Glass Onion, we all know, 1 week at AMC Regal. 1 week, and then Netflix pulled it. Let's continue.
It was a fully released film. It made lots of money and things. And listen, I'm not knocking where it's gone to and where it is, but it saddens me that there isn't a kind of a more of a theatrical moment for these movies, or any movie at all. That kind of going, but these movies seem to have a kind of a cross-generational appeal, and the idea that families go and see that movie just fills me with massive joy. It's not just a niche movie we're doing here. This is it's for everybody. And the fact is, to have it in a movie and have a collective experience in the cinema, blah, blah, blah.
Well, but exactly. That's exactly what we always talk about, right? The communal experience of cinema. It's not the same if you're at home watching a streaming movie on Netflix, and Craig gets it, along with so many others in the space that refuse to work with Netflix. And Craig, I think, is pissed that it got sold to Netflix, because before, again, it was Lionsgate. You didn't have to worry about this shit.
I know everybody says this, but it's the truth. And it's like, you can't, and yes, I'm glad people see it in their homes, and I'm glad people watch it together in their homes and have fun doing it. That's absolutely great. But there's nothing quite like going to the cinema.
You're right. And there is it's a fun...
Laughing in a cinema is the best thing in the world.
It is. And there's a fundamental difference between experiencing a movie at home, which has its place, but then the act of paying money and going and sitting in a theater,
with
as you said, with strangers, and having this collective experience is priceless. And also, and throw into the fact that, particularly when you work with someone like Ryan, who's like a movie mad guy, like he knows every frame of every movie ever. He's making a movie for the cinema. Like it has to be seen, but in his mind, that's how it's seen.
Scope. Yeah.
It seems a shame that
It is a shame.
Yeah.
But this is the way of the world right now, and we kind of have to kind of bend with it, and we have to keep sort of making sure that movies do get into the cinema. That's kind of really, I mean, as long as there's a market for it. I mean, it is a business.
One
Okay,
other question.
let's just stop there for a second. He's shading Netflix, right? We're all aware of that. He's hammering them, and he should, because we are the. Let's make sure this is clear. And by the way, I don't often ask for likes or thumbs ups or any of that shit, right? Likes, but I'm going to ask you now for this because who was the only person and still pretty much remains the only person in the entire space to drag Netflix 24/7, 365. Nobody else. Nobody else. Gore's not. When's Gore? Go show me one of his streams. Show me one of the streams where he drags Netflix and says they're shit. They're garbage. I'm not watching any of their movies because he's worried he's not going to get invited to the next party. I don't care about any of this stuff. This is why I'll never be compromised. I have no interest in getting invited to a party anymore. I have no interest in worrying whether a studio is going to invite me to a screening, and I have no interest in whether a director likes what I have to say or not. If you don't give a shit, then you can say these things. The problem is someone like Fennessey, let me drag him one more time, is so tied into getting the next director on the podcast and doing all, because he's not interesting by himself. Sean Fennessey's a snooze fest, milk toast, butter knife shit. And you're going to, the reason he's got to have a director on, because people are like, this is boring. I got to have someone on. And then even then it's boring. Let me ask you guys a question. Who would be better with Ridley Scott, me or Sean Fennessey? I would start. It would be wild. That interview would be wild. I'd be like, Ridley, when do you stop caring about making movies? And they'd be like, damn. And people are like, holy shit. So if directors want to come in, go for it. Let's go. But they won't. Because I'm not going to play by a set of rules the studio wants me to play by. And they think the way that they control you, remind you, they control you by all of these phony ass film people going, oh, you're going to invite me to your next screening? I've got to see it on Monday versus Thursday. And because of that, I better watch what I have to say. Where I watch a movie and I'm like, this movie sucks ass. It's got me at the theaters with X's in my eyes, right? Like, this is garbage. And then I'm never getting invited. Well, it's good. I wasn't invited in the first place. I told you guys. I don't have to worry about it. When I go to AMC, no one's telling I can't go see the movie. It's a free. I can pay for my ticket and go in. You can't stop me, Disney, Warner Brothers. I'm glad I dragged Superman. I'll drag it more. Good thing I wasn't at that press conference. I'd say, what the fuck was that, James Gunn? Get him out of here. Get security. Warner Brothers security, get him out of here. Where are they? Where are the Animaniacs? Get them out of here. Josh O'Connor's going to be in Knives Out 3. No, that's exactly, it's synergistic, right? So listen, but Daniel Craig is trying to fight the good fight. He's trying to drag Netflix and make them change their minds. And only someone of that power can even have any hope of making a dent in that policy that Netflix clearly has etched in stone. We don't care about wide theatrical, right? Their CEO repeatedly, Sarandos has said over and over, I don't care about movies. I mean, he says it and you guys still support them. I'm never going to support Emilia Perez. I'm never going to support The Piano Lesson. I'm never going to support any other Netflix film ever again. I haven't watched one this year. Not one. I didn't watch the new one with Bateman. I love Jason Bateman. I'm not going to watch it. I don't watch Netflix movies. I don't talk about Netflix movies. And to my detriment, if I talked about that airplane movie with Jason Bateman, I'd probably have a hell of a lot more views because then you're talking about something people actually watch versus Nickel Boys. This channel's not that channel. This channel is Nickel Boys. This channel is After Sun. This channel is niche ass, weird, cool little movies mixed in with me having to suffer through Mufasa or King of the Planet of the Apes or Avatar 7. Trust me, it's not a diet of that only. Hell. So that's why we're the champions. We are the gold standard, and we are always, always, always right. Let's mention this. I want to show you again to show you that we are always on top of what is the right way to view these things. You guys ready? It's time for the musings of the week and also our crystal ball that we nailed. Okay, remember when I saw Anora and I hammered the film? Do you guys remember that? So I saw Anora, I came out of it and I said, this film, I can't even believe is being considered for one Oscar, let alone as the most nominated film as it's anticipated to be when those announcements come out, when the nominations are released. here's the deal. So here, I was looking on Twitter this week, and this randomly popped in, and I just go, "Excuse me, where were you guys before I said that this is not good?" God, do I have it? Let's see if I can find it. I thought I saved it. Did I not save it? Damn it! I had it and I lost it. Well, anyhow, let me show you this. People are turning on Anora is what I was going to show you. It's not just me. It's a bunch of people. Here, look at this. This is the intimacy coordinator for Anora. One of them, she wasn't on the set because apparently there wasn't an intimacy coordinator, which you need to have in movies like Anora, where you have characters bonking all over the room, all over the house, all over the screen. And when you look at Sean Baker's films, you look at Anora. I understand she's a sex worker. I get it. She's a hooker, whatever. Right? Okay, here's the deal. Still, there's just random cutaways of them having sex, and it's not sexy, it's gross, like them doing doggy style, them doing this. Nothing's hot in that movie. Everything is just ugh, right? And here the intimacy coordinator wasn't there, and she's like, "Hey, we're only hearing from the two lead actors who said it's no big deal," but the director and producer, we're hearing from the people who have most power on the set. They can't speak for how every extra felt on the film. These actors felt comfortable with their director. That's great, but I think we have leave out a lot of people. We focus on the people who have the most power. Throughout history, we've had cameramen who have to sit there silently and record assault, right? And not feel that they could say anything. We're an industry of people who are trained just to say yes and not think about anything further. That's a hard thing to rewire. So he's getting dragged for this lack of an intimacy coordinator. But it's not just that. People are coming around saying this movie sucks. I get messages all the time going, "You were right, Weber. How'd you know?" Well, because I saw it. Because I don't have a... Listen, he's one of the biggest frauds in Hollywood, Sean Baker. Listen, we gave him the cinema champion. He loves movies. That's two different things, right? You can still be the cinema champion and be a fraud, right? Fennessey will never be that. But you see, you can have both titles. The reason Sean Baker's a fraud is his writing's terrible. His writing is Anora. If I wrote Anora, I'm just here to tell you, if we wrote the script, right? If Anora was the script that I wrote and I was talking about it the way I've been talking about the film we wrote, you guys would be like, "Holy shit, this is terrible." But because it's Sean Baker, you all say it's good. I'm not going to live in that world. I don't live in the world of bullshit propaganda because somebody before in the past had a good film. That means they have a good film now. No. This is not well written. The character's one note bitch, just like every fucking character that he writes. Go back to Florida Project, Brooklyn Prince, one note bitch. You have to layer your character so that when they have the turn at the end, they start crying, Florida Project and Anora, you feel something instead of, why the fuck all of a sudden she just this abrupt, seriously, like 180. Here she is, bitch, and then humps him. I mean, this is terrible. Anora is so fucking terrible. You guys don't understand. People are finally coming around. Check Twitter. Look, it's turning. I told you guys, it gets so tiring being the first guy out of the bunker taking the shots. And I keep going, right? It's literally like Tropic Thunder this is me. I am Ben Stiller in Tropic Thunder coming out, taking the shots and still walking. This is me every time I have to come out of the foxhole, out of the hiding, and to take these shots as I'm the first guy out, and then everyone behind me storms in and goes, "Yeah, Nora sucks ass." Like, what about that guy? But here's the difference. I don't fall down. I keep taking the shots and keep going forward. It literally it comes in. It's like one of the Fantastic Four. The bullets go in and then I just come back, right? Silver Surfer, whatever. But again, I'm not the comic book lore guy. Don't do that. But you know what I'm saying? I'm impervious to it. You can't stop me. And that's why we are telling you that we're always right. He's creepy, Kuzma. Totally. He's creepy. All his movies are creepy. The whole thing, I'm sorry, you guys, I don't know how you guys don't think Red Rocket's creepy. Red Rocket's really creepy. You got this 40-year-old dude hitting on a 17-year-old girl and then they're banging all over the place. In the donut shop, quirky, stupid. That movie should have been, I told you, every Sean Baker movie, here's what I would do. I would take the central idea of this grounded and then rewrite everything. I would take the characters and then just give them completely new personalities. I would go back. I told you guys the film fix for Red Rocket. I would make it a grounded film about a porn star who's lost everything, moving back to middle of nowhere, Texas, and he has to rebuild his life, not banging a 17-year-old at the donut shop. It's dumb. It's juvenile. It's not funny. It's creepy. Guys, why do I have to see this shit when you got frauds like Fennessey going, oh, it's the best film of the year. I love Anora. That you guys need to drag him into the middle of next week and back across the holidays, all the way through the Christmas corridor. The fact that I have to do it by myself and then none of you join because it's not safe. Don't worry. Don't worry about being safe. Go get these people who are frauds. Hammer them. Destroy them. They deserve it. Okay? I'm not trying to cancel them, but you need to let them know they're frauds. They need to be aware that we're on to their bullshit. Most people just go, oh, just let them go. No. We're going to call you out for being a fucking fraud. And that's what we're going to do over and over and over and over because you are. No one calls me a fraud. No one's ever called me a fraud. You know why? Because I'm not a fraud. Authentic, objective, ruthless. Okay? It is what it is. Maverick. Iconoclast. Name it. Sean Baker's like Harmony Korine. His movies aren't masterpieces, but at least someone is making art out of garbage. Listen, I told you I like him as a director. I've told you this about Sean Baker. I like Sean Baker as a director, not as a writer. So I would have him direct my grounded movie about a porn star who's lost everything in Texas trying to rebuild his life, but I'd not have him write it. All that shit with the 17-year-old's gone. If anything, I can bring the 17-year-old to donut shop in and then have him hit on her as a sad way of him trying to still stay relevant, going back to the substance and bringing that whole thing in. And she's like, ew, you're 40. And then that's pretty much it. That's all the character is. He has to deal with the rejection of this 17-year-old, which is already creepy, but at least he deals with the rejection of now I'm even lower because I can't even get anybody to like me. I'm a decent looking 40-year-old guy, but I'm a porn star who's washed up and that movie's so much more interesting, is it not? So much more. But instead, we get what we get in Red Rocket and Anora. Anora could have been great as a sex worker, meets a rich guy, and then they have this really torrid love affair without all the jokes and forget all the mob shit. Yes, you can work that in, but again, in a grounded level. They're not running around New York looking for the mobster on Instagram going, have you seen this guy? It's fucking guys, I'm not kidding you. Anora is the worst movie to ever be in the awards space in the history of awards. The fact that it's contending and winning at places for best film of the year will be one of the most laughed at existences in the history of any award. When they go back and say you gave it to Anora, you got to understand these people are finished. It is over at that point. It is over. It's over. There's no coming back. And the thing is we don't have anything we're over about. The only thing we're over about, oh, I'm sorry, I liked Thor Love and Thunder. I liked Ant-Man 3 for what they were. Goofy comic book movies. A lot better than a lot of the stuff I watch now that takes itself so seriously. But I'm saying comic book movies. I don't even really care about it. Don't get me started. I'm not the comic book guy. But the thing is you guys understand, I don't have that thing. I didn't say Anora's great. But then you got Fennessey out here saying Poor Things is a masterpiece. Anora's the best film of the year. You've got, yes, I'm going to continue dragging him because you all say, oh, he's the big kick. I'm going to drag that motherfucker every time I can because he's the biggest fraud in the space. He's an embarrassment compared, literally, his value is what's a stock that was up at the highest point versus actual Enron. He's literally Enron stock. That's what it is. Someday they're all going to realize it's going to drop down. It's not even trading on that. Someday you'll realize it. But until then, I'll just keep going because no one's coming after me like that. Sadvik, no one's. You know why they don't come after me? Because I'm dead on. Because I don't fucking miss. That's why. And if I do miss, it's some of you think it's Ant-Man 3. That's who cares? It's fucking Ant-Man 3. We're the gold fucking standard, baby. All right, let's go to a couple more things and we'll have open comments. We're almost up at an hour. I was going to be done, and then all of a sudden I look up and it's an hour. This is what happens. I just start railing on people. I spent way too much time talking about our film fraud this week. I apologize. Let's do the It Ends With Us lawsuit drama because this is some shit, man. So in case you didn't know, It Ends With Us, big box office hit across the globe. I like the film. It's not going to make my best of the year, but I love the ending of that film. Even though I didn't read the book, I didn't know. I just like that it completely subverts what you expect out of that film. And it ends with us. But the drama between Justin and Blake is out of control. We have a lawsuit. Okay. When I saw this hit, I said, excuse me, we're going to do a lawsuit. I don't like the idea of a lawsuit because all it does is bring up more shit that people have already moved on. Now, I listen, I'm going to say this. I get Blake Lively's point. Let me explain. If someone had started some shit with me that was really damaging, right? Not, it's one thing to say Weber's an idiot or what, but said some shit that's not true. Like me calling Fennessey a fraud, what's the lawsuit? Now, if I said Fennessey is a drug dealer who openly deals crack down on Sunset and Vine, then that's right. You see? So I understand Blake Lively fighting for her because she's been dragged through the dirt, justifiably or not. Blake Lively has been dragged every which way for her attitude, for her being a rich girl. She went to Burbank High down the street, which is like not even like it's not even a private school, so it's not whatever. But apparently she didn't lead a blue collar life, as apparently they just said in some article Ryan Reynolds said about their lives. I don't know about Ryan Reynolds' life. I feel like he's maybe more, but she wasn't necessarily. But she wasn't. I don't think she was the richest person in LA. She's not one of the Kardashians. But anyhow, back to this. So she's been dragged. I get it. You want to have a lawsuit. So she's now accusing him of all the shit in this lawsuit. It's crazy, dude. The lawsuit's nuts. I read through most of it, and I'm just like, this is too much. Let me just get you the hits, runs, and errors, and then we'll go to a video of Blake Lively that I think, you remember, when we do this, we're ultimately, MMT, we are journalists. I'm a journalist, okay? Even though it was TV news, even though I was a morning news anchor, I was objective. I never wanted to tell a story from one side. That's why I'm very good at my evaluations, objectively, because when I watch these films, I go in with the mindset of let's get everything level. Let's not go in saying this is a pro-Israel film or whatever, right? Bringing all the politics shit. Let's just watch the film and let's come out and say if it works and all that, right? It's very simple. And again, I'm a Libra, so everything's got to be balanced. And I think that's what makes me so good at what I do. I don't go too far one way, even though sometimes you're like, well, that's too much. Too bad. I'm still being objective, then making a decision. It's not like you're always going to be like, in the middle. You're going to take a side if you have all the facts in front of you. So let's get to it, and then we'll break down a little bit of what makes her look bad, right? I mean, let's just be honest. Let's show you something that makes her look bad. So we have him looking bad, and I'll show something her looking bad, and then we'll try to figure out where this is before the show's over. And we're going to go a little long tonight because this is going to take a few minutes. So just let me work through this. By the way, no one else is going to do this as well as we do it, objectively, journalistically, and no one's going to do it live. Nobody's doing it live. Go watch someone. Go find the Blake. Go find someone. They won't do it like this. They can't, because we're better than them. You guys understand? I say it all the time, and I mean it. We're the gold standard. We're better than everybody else. It's not a contest. I don't care if we have the views. I don't care if it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're better. And you guys know it. Months after rumors first swirled of the behind-the-scenes feud between Lively and Baldoni, the actress is claiming on-set tensions hit a fever pitch that a meeting was held in which she was forced to address repeated sexual harassment and other disturbing behavior by Baldoni. In the meeting, attended by multiple people involved in the movie, as well as Ryan Reynolds, Baldoni was allegedly ordered to alter his behavior. So this is like a come to Jesus, right? You're doing some things that aren't cool, and we need to get this all out on the table. According to the complaint, which precedes a discrimination lawsuit in California, Baldoni was told to stop showing Lively photos and videos of nude women, stop mentioning his alleged previous pornography addiction. I'm laughing. You know why I'm laughing? Because we just talked about Adriana Chechik on the live. So I'm still a journalist. I'm allowed to talk about Adriana Chechik. Don't try and stop me. It's never going to end. I'm not going to stop talking about her. She's super fucking hot. But forget it, okay? Let's keep going. In prior sexual conquest, and stop referring to the cast and crew's genitalia. Good Lord, this is some shit. The complaint says Baldoni was also ordered to stop adding, quote, sex scenes, oral sex, or on-camera climaxing by, quote, Lively outside the scope of the script approved when signing onto the project, according to TMZ. Lively alleges Baldoni and the studio soon embarked in a multi-tiered plan to destroy her reputation following that meeting, including planting several news stories and engineering social media campaigns that are critical of Lively. And we saw that. And we're going to show you one of the videos that I think wasn't really manufactured. Let's just show it in a second, and we'll talk about it. The complaint reportedly includes text messages between Baldoni's PR rep and a studio publicist obtained through subpoena, which allegedly outlined outlined their plan to eviscerate Lively if she went public with her concerns. So this is like some Shakespearean shit, right? I mean, Hollywood's how many times I tell you guys, Hollywood's nasty, man. People be stabbing each other in the back, right? Dude, I'm just telling you, the film space is bad. I don't have to worry about it because I don't worry about any of these clowns, but they are like, oh, Weber's awful. He's getting attention for. I don't even care. But these people are so jealous. Like, just why don't you do your own thing and be good? That's the problem. You can't be good. So, you have no talent. So, of course, you're going to be angry. Amid promotion for the film, production sources told multiple outlets that Lively, a co-producer of the movie, used her celebrity to take creative control from director Baldoni. Lively was accused of bringing her husband, Reynolds, to do last-minute rewrites and hiring her own editor, resulting in 2 different cuts of the film. And then all of this on and on and on. So it's ugly, okay? It's really ugly. In a statement Saturday, Baldoni's lawyer said it's all false, outrageous, intentionally salacious. Friedman refuted Lively's accusations of a coordinated smear campaign. There's some text messages. Here's what I'm going to show you. So let's go ahead and let's bring in to show you both sides. So here, Justin Baldoni looks like shit. Clearly, it's a lawsuit against him. If he was showing genitalia to people, that's a little, he sounds like he's just a little too arrogant, right? And listen, I know that if I'm directing a film, God, man, it's never going to happen because they're all going to say he's bad. Can you tell me why? He said mean things on his podcast, on his MMT show. He said really nasty things. What he's saying in particular, he just was mean. He said Sean Fennessey was a fraud. That makes him bad. He's bad to say that. It's not nice. Anything? No, that's it. That's all I have. Okay. He once said, he says a lot that DEI is bad. Does that make him racist? Well, of course that makes him racist. So, oh my God. I'm laughing because now you notice DEI is going away everywhere because we called it. There are other people in the I'm not going to pretend we're the only person up against that. But no one in the film space said that shit. No one in the film space says that because they're afraid of getting oh no, the liberal people won't like me. Or the conservative people. I don't care about either of y'all. I don't care about either of your tribes, liberal or conservative. Fuck all y'all. I don't care. I do my own thing. Here's the interview of Blake Lively. Let's just review whether she is bitchy in this because that was the allegation. Now, I have not really watched this. Let's watch it. And remember, when we're talking about Blake Lively and she's got the lawsuit, we have to show both sides. So this is Justin Baldoni. He's going to get his fair shake here as we show you this interview from 2016. It's entitled "The Blake Lively Interview That Made Me Want to Quit My Job" from Kirsty Flaw. She is a journalist who's got, by the way, I'm going to say this, she's had a lot of attention because of this. She has 5.9 million views from this. She's made some serious cash from this piece of video. More videos than we've ever, more views, clearly, way more views than we have. Okay, but here she is talking to Blake Lively in the Cafe Society. That was the Woody Allen flick, right? Let's listen to a little bit of this interview, and I'm trying to forget who else is in this thing. Remember, Parker Posey. Let's watch and let's just see how Blake Lively handles this. Hold on, let me turn it up.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
Okay, so Blake Lively's pregnant here. So I've done, I'm not going to lie, this happened to me one time. I was at the beach and there was a woman who, she looked like she was pregnant. She was thin and she had kind of a belly. And I said, congratulations. And I was just trying to be nice. And she looked at me like, how dare you? And I go, oh, fuck, I'm never saying that again. So just so you know, don't ever say that to a woman. Okay. I can firsthand experience, don't do it. But she's pregnant. She has 5 kids? Okay, Ryan and Blake have 5 kids. So here she is. Let's just watch. So she says, congratulations on the bump. And she goes, and then Blake's like, congratulations on your bump. It's like, wait a second, I'm not pregnant. Are you saying I'm fat? Then it gets ugly. Let's just watch.
You've got 2 nice ones.
And that's just getting goofy. It's uncomfortable, right? No question. It's very uncomfortable at this moment.
They are kind of bumps, aren't they?
No, not bumps. The lovely lady lumps. Check it out.
And Blake's not even looking at the right. So that's what you do. Okay. If you're shading someone, you're not even looking. You're like, the person's right. You're like, listen, I'm telling you, Blake, and this isn't your bumps. You're not paying attention. So she's not, it doesn't look good. Okay. Let's just, again, we're being fair. We haven't brought the gavel down quite yet, but we are looking at possibly bringing the gavel down on this makes her look bad.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You like the movie? Are you a Woody Allen fan?
I love most of his movies, and this one was so visually amazing. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Did you guys love wearing those kind of clothes that you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And working in digital.
Again, she's looking at Parker Posey, right? She doesn't even want to look at her at this point.
Wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
Oh shit. Okay, so she that's super aggressive. Not even passive aggressive, right? She's like, "What do you think about the period piece?" I mean, she's just trying. She should have really been armed, but I think honestly, when she says, "Hey, congratulations on your bump," and then she throws it back at her, she's like, "Oh fuck." I've been in these rooms. I told you this. I was in a room with Aaron Paul. I always bring the story up because it's amazing. And I came in and I said, so I think the first question was, how many jackets do you wear in this movie? It was that Need for Speed, which is not a very good first question because it's like, this movie isn't good because I told you, I am Carrie from Liar Liar. I can't tell a lie. I cannot tell a lie. So when I'm in there, I'm like, how many jackets do you have? And then I mentioned about bombs, like the movie was going to bomb, and I kind of called it, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good. But Aaron Paul was very gracious. Aaron, I apologize for that day. I'm not good at these interviews. I'm going to say something that's not very nice, because if I was interviewing Ridley Scott, I'd say, what the fuck are you doing with this movie? It's not good.
I love Jesse's suits and how
that's what I'm saying. His wardrobe was beautiful.
I know.
Corey's
Everybody.
wardrobe.
They're talking about the guy's wardrobe, so they're totally making fun of her right to her.
No,
Gorgeous,
he's
those
so
high-waisted pants.
He's so great.
I would wish men
And
wore
sorry,
high-waisted pants
too.
like
I
that.
know.
Still.
Look at her face. She's so pissed right now. This Kirsty Flaw is like, you bitch. Right? 100%. If I could, I would come over there and we would have fisticuffs.
Or the father with his tank top in bed.
It's so
Just
good.
like, it's just like
Did you
that.
catch
You could feel
the
it.
tablecloth on the light in the Italian restaurant when they eat spaghetti?
This is bad. I think I would walk out. If I was the journalist and I was in this thing, I'd say, okay, ladies, thanks for being here. I'll see you later.
Notice that. No.
Yeah,
there's
So
so
I
much
feel like-
warmth of everything,
Yeah, it's not just the women that have the clothes.
But
I feel like the women
Victoria-
get the conversation, but it's like
Yeah.
every detail with everybody.
But yeah,
It's
it was
She didn't even say that. The journalist just asked what was it like being in the clothes. She didn't say men don't have clothes. This is not cool.
amazing to look at. And then to
Steve's white
see it,
suits.
yes.
And then you notice in LA, like everybody's in cream colors and all the men are wearing like white and cream. And then you get to New York
And now they're just talking about
and
random.
it's a little bit more
Okay.
browns and moodier. And Susie really told such a story
Yeah, amazing.
alongside Vittorio, because it is a lot brighter and sunnier in LA, and New York has just a steaminess to it.
And I think, the whole Hollywood.
Okay, hold on. I just want to pause and say that listen, you guys know if they let me in the room, what do you think the first question would be, everybody? What would be the first question? Do you guys have any issues working with Woody Allen? They would kick me out so fucking fast, but they'd be like, get out of here, leave, because that's the question. No, listen, I personally think Midnight in Paris is one of my favorite easy watches, right? You just throw that thing on, I can watch it. I love the dialogue, I love the feel, I love the period, right? There's so much to love about Midnight in Paris. What a great film. And I'm not here to cast judgment on Woody Allen, but understandably, a lot of people are, and I'm not going to get it. I'm just saying that's certainly something to talk about. I'm sure they said don't ask it, but I'd still ask, and then they kick me out.
Hollywood glam, it's so glamorous and everything. Can you relate to the things they were saying about Hollywood? It's so easy to get seduced by the fame and the money and the
Oh,
glam.
you see it all the time. That was one of my favorite things about the movie, were the subtle turns to their own transition into like the.
That's a great question. I like it. It's very good, right? Because you're bringing it down to them and making it more personal. But again, Blake's not looking at her. Blake's looking at Parker Posey. She does not want to even look in the direction.
Ego of showbiz that Kristen has in that scene with Steve Carell, and then with Bobby taking on the persona of a club owner, but still like.
Okay, let's fast forward. I'm not going to watch this whole thing.
I mean, that's normally my experience. And even people that are portrayed to be really great people, they're just a lot more complicated and interesting and nuanced and caring and thoughtful. And that's always nice, to see that your idea of someone isn't always who they actually are.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Oh my God. Look at Parker Posey's face. Oh shit. That's fucking crazy. Her face is like, and Blake Lively's like, this is not good. This is bad. But she also got 6 million views on this. So there's that. Comments on this, and I think we've presented the case. I don't have a gavel. I'm just going to tell you, I think both sides have issues. If Justin Baldoni did what he said, then, all that shit on the set, then he's fucking, dude, he's done. First of all, Baldoni's done in Hollywood. He just got dropped by WME. For everyone's like, what's William Morris Entertainment? They're one of the biggest agents along with CAA. So William Morris, WME, said goodbye, dropped his ass. And when that happens, when an agency that big, they're done. It's over. Like, he's not going to work. Because you got to remember, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are very powerful people in this town. Duh. Okay? Ryan Reynolds in particular. Is there anyone more think about it. Listen, Ryan Reynolds at one time, I don't know if he still does. He follows me on Twitter. I don't know if he still does. I'm not going to check here tonight. I don't even look at it. Again, it's not how I judge whether I'm doing something right or wrong, whether some celebrity follows me on Twitter. But here's what I'll tell you, is that he is one of the most powerful people in this town. And if you get on the wrong side of him and you want to work in Hollywood, you're not going to work in Hollywood, right? So Baldoni's done. He's toast. No matter what happens with this lawsuit, it's over. And even if he's not guilty of all this shit, he's not going to recover. Justin Baldoni's done. Okay, I'm calling it here tonight. He's done. It's over. For Justin Baldoni. Okay, let's do it. Super chats. I've got a couple I got to get to because Gone Girl had to go to bed. It's too late. I'm already past my bed. Hold on. Let me get to a couple of super chats. Give me a second. If I haven't gotten to it, we'll get to it right now. Thank you for being here tonight. I love your passion, Steve. Thank you again. You convinced me I will drive and leave that blue demon in the popcorn bag where it belongs. I'm trying not to be too. Do your best. Fight Father Time, Steve. Always fight Father Time. We'll do it forever. That's what you don't give in. I mean, listen, am I getting better at the gym every day? No. Am I trying? Yes. So it's all you can do. Hold on. More super chats. I'm going to make sure I get these before I get out of here, and I'll give you my must-see of the week because we do have one. And by the way, Merry Christmas to you. Yes, I mean, Merry Christmas. We'll have a Christmas night stream, by the way. I agree with this, Johnny. Queer had some of the best cinematography. It's from a directorial standpoint across the board. Tech on Queer is fantastic. I love the music usage, the choices by Luca. As we said, he's one of the best directions. The film itself is not as great. It's very hard to access at times, not because it's about a gay man. Queer is a difficult watch. It requires a ton of patience. It's one of the longest 2 hour and 20 minutes movies you'll ever sit through. But because you have Luca giving you those stylistic, artistic drops in the film, you're like, I'm with you, right? I'm here. I'm not going to watch Three Daughters, even though Elizabeth Olsen, oh gosh, so fucking hot. Okay, if you were to ask me, Elizabeth Olsen or Adriana Chechik, that's really tough. I'm going to go with Olsen because I think we know why. I'm not going to say that. Best film of the year is released on Netflix, Uprising. I've heard it's good. I'm not going to watch it. It sucks. Stop, coach. I'm glad I didn't get this. The best H24 is Uprising. I'm sorry, I got it there, Jason. Now I got you on the super chat. Thank you. 100%. I'm just not going to watch it. I mean, Park Chan-wook from Decision to Leave. Of course I want to watch that, but you guys understand. Because it's not on Mubi this time at AMC, I'm not going to watch it. And it sucks. I'm missing out on films because it's not. We'll do that. We'll do the Weber Awards. I saw that earlier. I will do that before the year's over. I promise you that. We've threatened hot women on Golden Globes. What? Well, of course they do. Of course, that's all easy. Look, that's how. By the way, that's how you make it in on YouTube. You have like a hot girl talk about Star Wars. He says, "Whoa, look, it's a hot girl." Like the guys out there, to like, like, come on, man. Seriously, who cares? Is she talented? Is she good? Is she funny? Does she know her shit? I don't care if she looks like Adriana Chechik. Okay. Ross and Mangold far above. Oh yeah, hell yeah, no question about it. Pornography addiction. Let's not even talk about that. Oh, Mia Mug. Why are we doing this now? The episode of Amitude brought to you by Stop. I just want to, Steve, thanks for being here, buddy. Always a pleasure. Thanks for welcome to the show if you've never been here. Weber hits the nail on the head again. Midnight in Paris. Thank you, Sully. I'm never wrong. You know that, Sully. Christmas Court or whoever. Elizabeth Olsen or Jessica Chastain. Oh, Elizabeth Olsen, Louise. That's not even a question. That's not even a question. All right, here we go. No, and I sat at a table with Jessica Chastain for the Interstellar. And I was at the Interstellar table at Critics' Choice back in 2014, and Jessica Chastain was there. And she's not unattractive. It's just no. Elizabeth Olsen is like next level, right? Elizabeth Olsen is Mount Rushmore of women. And Adriana Chechik is on the mountain. It's just she's further down because she's had so many rides to the top. This shit is made up. I want you guys to know that aside from my opening singing to Last Christmas, which I sort of thought about like a little bit, the rest of this is literally in the moment. There's no time that I ever just say, tonight's kid, by the way, is Aston Villa. Let's go ahead. And by the way, it's Christmassy, right? We got the red, we got the green. We're doing it right. I've got to get the must-see of the week up, and we're going to watch a trailer, and then we're going to get out of here, even though it's, no school for a lot of you. You still want to go to bed. I stay up too late. Must-see of the week is Last Christmas. If you've not watched this film, I can't recommend Last Christmas enough. I went to the press.
Vision insurance doesn't do you any good.
Back in 2017, I believe was the year it came out. And I didn't even want to go. And I said, let's just go to the ArcLight and I'll watch this goofy Christmas movie, Last Christmas. And I was not really into it throughout. And then all of a sudden, the twist happens. Okay. If you've never seen Last Christmas, you're going to watch the trailer. Can I say, as we get ready to watch this trailer, and we can talk about it because this is our must-see. I'm sure some of you have seen it. I love George Michael. Okay. I mean, if I could go back in time and do one thing over, okay, this is a little much what I'm saying, but okay, just off the top of my head, one thing I'd like to do over is have an opportunity to watch George Michael live, to see him live. I wish I could. It's never going to happen. Okay. I have visited the bathroom where he openly masturbated in Beverly Hills. I know where that is. It's right in the heart of Beverly Hills. I walked in and just got to feel the aura of George Michael's cock. So at this point, you guys understand I don't have anything left. I'm just going to say whatever's on my mind. I walked in the restroom there in the middle of Beverly Hills, and I thought this is where he was busted for having his cock out. Nowadays, they would just go, who cares? It's LA. People walk around with their cocks out all the time. Go to Hollywood. Okay, let's watch this. This trailer is a lot of George Michael music. It's very well directed. People do not talk. This is how you direct a comedy film. Okay, Paul Feig directed this. This is how you do it. It's really well directed. The songs are excellently used perfectly, and Emilia Clarke is adorable. She's on Mount Rushmore of women as well. She's above Chechik, but below Elizabeth Olsen. Here comes. Hold on, let me turn it up.
1, 2, 3. I bet nothing's ever your fault, is it, darling? I used to worry about the way
you have thrown away your life working in some silly Christmas shop.
Baby, don't cry.
First of all, I don't even like this trailer at all because I've never watched the trailer. This trailer doesn't even have any George Michael music. Like, you have to have... The movie is all about George Michael. The whole film is about the song Last Christmas, a Wham song, but still, George Michael, that's what makes the film great, is every transition is a different song from truly one of the greatest musical artists of all time. Listen, from a songwriting perspective, from a pop music perspective, George Michael, one of the towering giants in the history of music. I will say that until the day I die. Faith was one of the biggest albums of all time. And what you guys don't understand, for those of you who are younger and don't understand the importance of George Michael, I'm going to take you back to 1988. When it was late 87, 88, right in that time frame when Faith dropped. You don't understand when Faith was on the radio and I Want Your Sex and Monkey and every song off that album. I Love Kissing a Fool. It's so varied, so diverse. He's such a talent. But that album defined my high school years, right? It defined those years. You don't understand when everything in pop culture was MTV, when it was 3 networks, 4 with Fox, and then PBS 5. That was it. There was cable channels, but not everybody had cable. It was all about the music, and it was all about George Michael and Faith. That album is one of the biggest, most influential albums of all time. Anyone who doesn't know that doesn't know their shit. I'm sure Fennessey wouldn't say that. He'd say, well, the Beatles are, well, of course, no shit. He would say the most obvious shit. He doesn't say George Michael's Faith is one of the most important albums of all time to its time period. Influential to that era was Faith.
Hey, Elf! This is my little helper. I have nicknamed her Lazy the Elf because she appears never to work. Father, Holy Christmas, get me out of here.
Terrible trailer. Terrible.
What?
Jesus, where'd you come from?
Well, what are you looking at?
Okay, I'm not watching another second of this because it's not going to make you want to watch it. I'm going to find a scene where they use the music. Give me 1 second, because you have to understand the film is fun. It's got a great just heart to it. We talk about mean-spirited movies. This movie is not that. This movie is full of love. Okay, I know that sounds cheesy, but you don't understand. It is, and the twist is amazing. If you know the song, you'll know what's coming. Oh shit! Should I show you the scene? Should I show you the twist? No, because I'll ruin the movie. Let me just show you a scene where it's fun. Like you can see like what she's doing. Here we go. This is the Christmas concert scene.
Do you know what's really fun?
No, I don't want to start a website with Wix. Go away. Why are they always pushing a Wix website? Okay, so this is near the end of the movie. She has a concert for all the poor folk in London, and she's doing it. She works at a what's it called? Where they a mission? What is it? Where they shelter? Short.
Right, well, so I knew the lighting would be crap, so I brought my own. Yes.
It's just a goofy, fun, like I said, sweet-hearted film.
Thank you. All right, we've got lots to get through. I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's put so much hard work in. Mum, for making the most ginormous creme bitter. I think you want to join.
Whatever happened to Amelia Clark? I feel like
My mother.
Weird. She should have been a big star. Why is she not a bigger star? I mean, she was, but I'm just saying in movies.
Now, I'd like to thank everyone individually, but Dan said no speeches were allowed.
Yeah, now get off, Elf.
Yes, thank you, Daniel.
I forget which
Seconds
one.
away. I just
Last Christmas, of course.
I just want to say this one thing. We are so lucky to be alive.
Here.
Hey, don't you feel it?
We are so lucky to be able to help each other in little ways and in big ways.
Preach, Amelia, preach.
The reason we are lucky is because helping each other is, in fact, what makes us happy.
Amen.
That's all.
Also dragging, chin-stroking knob film critics. Those two things are what make you happy in life.
Give us a song, Kate!
A song? I think I've got one up my sleeve.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special.
You know, we talk about all these Christmas movies you're supposed to watch. Last Christmas needs to be on your list. If you've never watched it, but again, just trust me on this. It's all about the George Michael song usage, and you'll be reminded what a toweringly talented artist he was, and he doesn't get enough credit. And we're giving him credit here, Son MMT. Thanks for being here live from the City of Angels as always. It's a Hallmark film with a budget. Robert, watch it. Next time I see you over at Burbank, I'm going to be looking for you for that comment. We will not allow Last Christmas slander here at MMT. We'll allow Fennessey slander. We'll allow Zach Pope slander. We'll allow Brandon Davis slander, but we will not allow Last Christmas slander. That will not be allowed. We're back here on Christmas. Merry Christmas, guys. As always, we're back Christmas night with Nosferatu, that beloved Christmas tale. We'll talk about that on Sunday. No, it is Sunday. To Wednesday night. Merry Christmas, everybody. Peace out. Live from the City of Angels. You've been watching MMC.